So a lot of you have reached out to me over the last bit asking me what I mean by decolonize your hearts and minds. So I first put up a quote card saying decolonize your hearts and minds probably sometime last year, maybe the year before. As someone who is South Asian by descent, and so my parents were born in India. We're Punjabi and we're Sikh by faith. My parents, they were born into an India that was in the thick of decolonizing, so right in the midst of partition. India was colonized by the British, as you know, for centuries, and in the 40s, kicked into high gear in decolonization. And so they, despite India being independent for most of their lives as they grew up, the imprint of the ideology that the British are better, that the Anglo way of being is better, that white people are better, that whiteness is better, permeated all of what it is that my parents observed, took in, saw, and so much more. And so is the same with every other person in India at the time and even now. And so I had a front row seat as someone who was born in Canada, also colonized, hello, by the British and the French. I had a front row seat in watching how it is that systems of white supremacy and colonialism continue to permeate the way that people think, feel, and behave and believe in as it relates to who they are and their value. So when I say decolonize your hearts and minds, what I'm talking about is raising awareness, turning the light bulb on to how it is that the belief that white people, that whiteness makes us as people of color and indigenous peoples inferior to those who are white. And so back in the day when white Europeans first started colonizing parts of the world, they used race and ethnoculture as a way to socially stratify people and also to justify the stealing of land, enslaving people, pillaging and raping Mother Earth and people, and so much more. And basically, as people of color and indigenous peoples, we were fed the belief that we are inferior. And this was the justification for why white Europeans could in fact take our lands, take our resources, take our people, and so much more. And now, here we are in 2020, and while it is the case that we're not being colonized in that direct, overt way, although arguably, yes, there are multiple societies around this world that are continuing to be colonized in that direct way. But it's more subtle and more nuanced now. There's economic colonization, there's social political colonization, there's societal colonization. But the colonization that I'm particularly interested in as it relates to decolonize your hearts and minds is the belief that we as people of color and indigenous peoples hold around how we are inferior. So that's what I mean when I say decolonize your hearts and minds. It's like literally tuning into, reflecting on for yourself as an individual, how it is that in your body and in your mind, you hold the belief that you are less worthy, you are not good enough, that you are less deserving and so much more than people who are white because you are of color or you are indigenous. It is how colonization continues to live in our minds and bodies. And this is what I deeply desire that we interrupt going forward. I have a lot of tools and resources on how to do this at ritubhasin.com. You can check it out, or across social media. My hope is that we individually own our accountability and responsibility to make this happen for ourselves so that we can create collective disruption. Because if I do this and you do this and your friends do this and my friends do this and your family does this and my family does this and so much more, it's like a domino effect, which then leads to systemic disruption, which is ultimately what we want to have happen if we are truly to interrupt white supremacy and dismantle racism in society. So that's what I mean. Thanks, as always, for watching.